you're a person of color, like just like me.
Yeah.
And so like I'm just wondering genuinely how like you can support a party or a movement that's been particularly ostracizing and more like aggressive towards people of color.
How so? What do you mean?
Like they're aggressive. They push policies and agendas, especially Donald Trump, that especially like just hurt people of color.
Like, what, can you point to me to a specific policy or?
I mean, immigration policies that, I mean, you see what ICE is doing, especially with all the deportations. I mean, there's a lot of Supreme Court verdicts that's been going on that like, like even if they are identified, like they're identified as U.S. citizens, that the Supreme Court ruled that you can only, even if you're a person of color, like they can start deporting you if you're just a person of color just by looking at your face.
It's not a policy.
Wait, what?
The ruling of the Supreme Court. There's been reports of people that are that had their IDs and showed them.
There's not been one U.S. citizen that's been deported.
Now, if you're talking about detaining, people get detained all the time. The police detain people whenever they're asking about a crime for many, many, many reasons. And they have to show their ID, they have to prove who they are, and things like that. So I don't understand what you're talking about, to be honest.
Oh, so you don't feel ostracized at all by the party? By the political
but you said because of policy, so I'm asking about like what policy you're talking about. A Supreme Court ruling.
I'm not the best.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm not the most.
But here's the thing that happens is people tell you things in the media, and then we just believe them without actually looking into it. I think you got to realize that the media has a bias, right? Yeah. They have to make money. How do they make money? By selling commercials. How do they make more money? By getting more viewers. So everyone gets their little section of the population, and then they make news for them, right? That's what happens most of the time. So it really depends who you're watching and what they're telling and why they're telling you what they're telling you. If you watch Spanish news, it's all about immigration and deportation. I know. I watch Spanish news. Why? Because that's a demographic. You know how many people are watching that news? A lot of people. So that's one of the problems with reading or with listening to something and believing whatever you're telling them. Now, never has the Supreme Court says that citizens could be looked at by their skin color and then deported. There have been 0 citizens who have been deported. What do you deport them? They're citizens, right? Now, it's a different thing if like Kilmar Garcia, who was a gang member, who wasn't a citizen. If he's not a citizen and he's doing illegal things, he should be deported, right? I mean, you wouldn't want illegal people doing illegal things here and then allow them to stay here, right?
I agree that criminals need to be deported, but I mean, whenever you start to strip families that, for example, there's a lot of people that were doing ICE check-ins that were here to the knowledge of the United States, though they had their own legal proceedings going on and they're getting kidnapped and deported at their courthouses, at the place like that. How do you explain that?
So you said the people who are having ICE proceedings that are illegal and that were determined to be illegal and committed crimes?
They're ICE check-ins. That's what I mean.
They're ICE check-ins. Sure. If they are here illegally and it's ruled that they don't have a right to be here, then they get deported. This has always been the policy of the United States. Obama deported millions of people. So did Clinton. So has most of the presidents.
Yes, but he made
up until Biden.
His emphasis was to not go for families, not to go for hardworking people who are just here to get a better life.
Well, if you're a hardworking person, sorry, 1 second.
There's a hierarchy, which is going to be the
by that
rapists,
logic,
the murderers, the gang members that you talk about, right? And
in the very beginning, it was. Yeah.
There are some monsters in of course, every demographic, especially in that demographic of illegal immigrants. So that is the hierarchy that's been emphasized by Obama. And a lot of those
by
people,
Obama?
Yes, and if you look at those statistics that came out, and I promise you I can't give you numbers, but I know.
I'm glad you know. So you know they used to call Obama the deporter in chief because he deported so many people, millions of people.
But these weren't families being stripped apart, and you can't forget what happened with DACA. The human trafficking incident.
MS-13.
But where's the proof in that, though?
That's Homeland Security.
Is that
That's Homeland Security. That's the government website.
Homeland Security is also saying.
So the thing is, if you don't trust the government, and you don't trust do you trust the news over the government? Because you're making an argument that he wasn't, and you're saying, show me proof, and we literally showed you the government's own website, and you're saying, well, I don't believe that.
Well,
so
no.
I'm
not saying I don't believe that.
Okay.
I'm just saying that Homeland Security and a lot of the government websites have very questionable wording and a lot of things because they want to spread Donald
So do you think the government's lying about him doing these things?
I think that they're.
And you think the court documents filed are all forged and falsified for that one specific individual?
No. I don't believe that. So I just do believe that there are certain things that have been proven by external sources outside of the government.
So does it even matter that he was?
So y'all saying that y'all would believe in everything the government tells y'all, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, I would never say anything
So,
like that.
so this is
and
where we
neither
differ.
should you, but you shouldn't also believe the media that's told you that he was here being
I
a
agree,
peaceful
but
person
that's why
because
we
you have
here's
zero
the thing.
We have
proof.
to be able
Even
to
though-
discern and question everything that comes from either side of.
I agree.
Whether it's the media.
And what you
the
could have done,
right,
and I agree, and
the
you should have done
government.
that because you asked us, "Where's the proof?" We showed it to you. But if you knew about this
That's
for
not
months
proof,
and
That's
months,
not proof that Kilmar did not have.
I didn't say
did.
just the tattoos. He
He
did
did
have
have tattoos.
tattoos. But that's what I'm saying. You could have looked this up as easily as we did.
I did, but I'm
and then
just
you
showing
would have
I
known.
wanted to see these specific I wanted to see pictures. Honestly.
Sure, I mean
if
it's
I'm
it's
gonna be
very easy.
honest.
You could just Google a picture of him. I mean, it'll take you 10 seconds.
Well, yeah, I
But
agree.
you owe yourself a due diligence because you came up to me with an argument. You have zero.
No,
proof of
I
your
didn't come up
argument.
with an argument. I came
Well,
up with just an inquiry.
Okay, with an inquiry, and then you said that he this and it wasn't right, and then you brought up a Supreme Court ruling that never has existed.
and-
so you brought up really nothing other than your opinion, which you got from somewhere. You've never met him.
No, well,
these,
to go
sy- these symbols represent, so marijuana, okay, smiley face, MS-13. That's what that means. MS-13. When Trump put MS-13 on the hands, that wasn't the actual tattoo. That was what it represented. So
I've
those
seen-
tattoos.
I've
So
seen that
like,
picture and I know
so
that
so
that's
you
it,
might
but-
think this tattoo is crazy, but it's actually a Jerusalem cross. It represents Christianity. Some people think it represents like Nazism or
Nazism,
whatever.
okay,
Whatever.
I
That does
agree.
not mean it means that. It means
So,
Christian.
all right. So then what could that mean then?
This means
from there?
the only thing that this means, and this is what cartel members put on their hands to identify
you talked to
themselves.
the cartel members
This is
and they've
this
they
is
told
what
you that?
this is what the government says. What everyone says.
Have you been to El Salvador? Because I have, and I've seen tattoos like this
but I've
all
been to
around
Mexico.
MS-13.
MS-13 tattoo.
Okay, but I've been to El Salvador around MS-13 members, and I've seen one of their things is they get tattoos all over the body, so it's really easy to identify them. Now they're changing that because they're getting caught so easily. However, so the original argument or the inquiry that you said is how could you support Trump because he's as a brown person because he has what
Where you from?
fascist Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
My parents are from Cuba. So, but you said he has what fascist policies or
Me?
no.
I didn't say that.
I'm asking you like what
Oh
was it that you said?
no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he is someone that truly cares about people of color, even though he might say
Why?
a lot of things, a lot of rhetoric.
Well, why is it? So if I tell you something, you're not going to believe me because of why. So Donald Trump will say it, but you don't believe him. Why don't you believe him?
Wait, what? If Donald Trump says
He said what he said, and you said I don't believe that he does care about people of color.
Well, yeah,
Why?
because it's about being a man of action and having policies that show that he's caring about ostracize a more group of people that have been just overall set up by a system to fail.
So let me ask you a question. These gangs don't operate in white areas, right? They typically go to the poor areas, right? Like the Tren de Agua and all those people. Who lives in those areas? People of color.
Why?
Why?
Why do they-
Why do they live there? Oh, I have no idea why every person of color
systems
lives in
put-
certain
I mean,
people.
it's important to
However,
understand what systems put them in
However,
place
let me
to
ask
the
you a
reason why
question.
they're like-
If Donald Trump sends in ICE to capture and deport members of illegal gangs that are operating in brown communities, is he not protecting brown people that live there? Because he said he only cares about.
If there's truly proof that they are gang members and they're 100% violent criminals and rapists, and yes, so then yes, I'd
Okay,
support that, right?
great.
Who wouldn't?
Great.
Anybody that
That's-
lives,
that's-
Even if they
amazing.
aren't violent, they are
Everybody would support
they are
that.
still committing a crime by being in the United States.
The very act
So
of
then
crossing
you
a
would
border
be-
is
so
illegal,
you're okay
actually.
with-
And the punishment for
okay.
that crime is just deportation.
But you act like these people didn't leave for a reason. That's what
Okay,
I'm trying
they
to
might
say.
have left for a reason, but it doesn't matter. You're still breaking our laws, and you need to be
But
punished.
what if
for
they?
that.
But they're not breaking a law. Last
They
time
broke- they broke-
is
they
it,
broke
is
the
it
law.
true that is it a misdemeanor or is it a breaking?
It doesn't
the law?
matter. It doesn't matter what it is. You're still breaking the law.
That does matter. because
If
a
I break the
misdemeanor-
law, I
Have
need
you
to
ever
have
gone
the correct
speeding?
punishment for it.
Have you ever been caught speeding?
No, I've never been pulled over my entire life.
All right, well, that's something like that is a misdemeanor. Something along the lines of that is a misdemeanor. as well.
But you're a
traffic
citizen.
violation.
You're a citizen. You're legal in this country. So, for instance, let me ask you a question.
That's true, and that
Hold on, one second. Let me ask you a
Let
question.
me ask you this, if I'm speeding-
have to address and be able to walk
Were your
by-
parents
and
born-
A lot of these people walk by these lines.
Let me ask you a question.
And abide by the laws of the United States and work their butts off to be here and live here and to survive and prosper.
Again, the fact that you work hard means really nothing because you could be a murderer who has a great job, and it still doesn't
I
mean
agree,
because
right?
someone
And they
murders
get-
someone, they work hard.
They get deported or get in jail, arrested, or
because they committed a crime. Let me ask you a question. Did your parents come here legally?
That's I mean, you're,
Okay, but you're here legally.
I'm here.
Okay. Do you like people cutting in front of line of you? Clearly not. So what's happening is you have millions of legal immigrants who are trying to get into the country. One second, let me finish.
I know the point you're trying
No.
about to say.
And you're having people.
We're gonna make a little bit of background.
Sure.
So people can walk by.
And you're having people who are coming here, breaking all the rules, getting your tax money, my tax money, to fly in places, to give them phones, to give them food cards, to give them a room to live in.
4-star to 5-star hotels in New York City.
And who's paying for all that? I live in Los Angeles. We have hotels all over Hollywood Boulevard that are just for homeless and illegal people all over the place. Do you think that's right?
I think that the system that's set up currently does need to be reformed. I do believe
What system specifically?
Legal immigration, because it makes no sense that it has to be done by a law.
So we should break the rules and loosen them, or what
There
should
should
we
be
do?
policies that should be reflected that are progressive to move in the direction to make it easier. You want less illegal immigrants? All right,
How is it going to be easier to get in legal immigration or legal immigrants if you have 10 million illegals coming in? That's the problem. You flood the system.
I'm giving you a suggestion, a solution. Pursuing progressive policies that allow you to be able to tell these these immigrants that are trying to get in, possibly legally or illegally, because everyone's obviously going to try the legal way first. But you ask any illegal immigrant, they're going to tell you the system did me wrong. I didn't win the lottery.
Not everyone should be an American citizen.
And not everyone can get in.
That's what the American. That's
No, not everyone.
So are you saying we should have unlimited?
United States.
No, we need to have a small amount of legal immigrants that are super smart and help out our economy. We do not need everybody. Not everyone can be an American. It should not be for everybody. Down the line. No,
Wait, hold on. Why?
Because this is such
Because
a
of your
great
opinion? No,
No, not because of my opinion.
We are not the world's soup kitchen. We are not the world's
We're not.
homeless shelter.
We're not.
Okay, so we need to get smart people from other countries that can help out our
Greatest
economy.
American country, because of the fact that you can do all these things in other countries, but if you come here and whether you do something, if you contribute to the economy, if you work hard, you do everything right, you abide by the laws, you are an American. And you're able to become...
No, you're not an American if you came here illegally, first of all, and I don't care if you've contributed to the economy. You've still broken the law by walking through the border illegally.
The first thing, the legal way,
the first thing
easily.
you do in my country is disrespect my laws. Not you specifically. I'm not talking about you. It's just an example. The first thing you do in my country is break the law. I don't want you here.
That's not breaking the law. It's
Yeah?
a misdemeanor.
No, it's breaking the law. So you brought up specifically earlier that if I speed, it's breaking the law, right? It's a misdemeanor or whatever you wanted to say. There's still punishments for that, all right? There's still punishments, whether it be a fine, a ticket, whatever you want. But there's still
not your whole livelihood being uprooted and taken to another country.
uprooted and then back to where you're supposed to be.
No, in places you're not supposed to be there. If there's gang violence,
Do you believe
and
in
there's
borders?
There's gang violence in America.
persecution.
There's violence all around the world, even here. There's violence here, sometimes higher than a lot of other
It's not-
countries.
no, but it's not to. I promise you, it's not to the extent of how it was in El Salvador, right before Bukele, ¿verdad?
Yes,
It's
it
not-
was.
You know what
It was a
Bukele
lot
did?
worse.
Bukele's working with Donald Trump.
You really think that it was worse here? It's been worse here than it ever was in El Salvador,
No,
where they
what I
would
said
kill
is that El
priests,
Salvador-
they would gang members.
What El Salvador used to be more dangerous. It used to be the highest murder rate per capita in the world, and now it's not. And why? Why? Because the president restored law and order, and he went after the gang members, and that's all it took.
I
Because
agree.
90% of the population or more doesn't want
Did any of that
people
part include-
causing trouble.
Did any of that part include any sign of breaking apart families, breaking apart hardworking people? No.
Okay, so if I break the law, I go to jail and you break apart my family, okay? If you break the law in America, I get sent to jail. I'm not with my children anymore. It's the same thing happens.
But you get to come back. You get to come
Oh,
back.
not in a lot of cases. Maybe.
Not in a lot of
It
cases,
doesn't
yeah.
matter.
That's true.
But listen, you broke my laws. You go back home. That's the punishment for breaking that law.
The thing, you can't
should not
say,
change.
just because you're a good person, you can do whatever you want. That's not how it works. You have to have laws in place. You have to have borders. Otherwise, you have no countries. Look at the countries that don't have any borders.
I agree,
Okay,
yeah.
and you have to have a law to enforce who can come in and out, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There
So
are
now we agree.
progressive policies that you need to be enacted. So if you want less illegal immigration, all right. The solution is have more progressive policies that allow immigrants to come
Define
in
progressive
legally.
policies, and what would that look like? 'Cause I'm very
There's a
confused.
special work visa that a lot of other countries offer that allow them to go
H-1B?
essentially.
It's called the
I
H-1B
can't give you a
visa.
specific one.
Okay, you're probably talking about the H-1B visa, where you're brought over by a company that sponsors you because you have a special skill set that we want in the country at that point in time. We have that already. So what else?
Not eliminating the lottery system completely. The lottery system is very ridiculous.
And then taking it to what kind of system?
Because most illegal immigrants don't stay in the United States. They stay.
You want to get rid of the system to get people in and replace it with what?
Making it easier for them to
How? Doing what? By doing
better
we gotta go check this out. We're doing it for
it's all workers.
So what?
I want to go get footage of it. Come on.
Provide content.
We'll be right back.
Yeah,
We just want to go check this out real quick. We'll talk to you guys, promise.